Hey guys, we are Colin and Lauren with the Photography Business Secrets podcast. We are so excited to say that this is our first podcast episode of many, many, many more. And Colin is here with me. You can say hey.
Hey everybody.
And really on the first episode, we want to talk about what is this podcast all about, who we are, and why we're making this podcast, and what to expect on later podcasts, because we're excited for this and we think that we can share a lot of great information with you.
Yeah, we are excited. So I guess we could start off. Well, again, I already said hello to everybody, but we are excited. This podcast, essentially, what is it designed for? What are we going to be kind of covering?
Yeah, so if you can tell from the name of the podcast, The Photography Business Secrets, we really want to teach photographers the ins and outs of the business of photography. Not just the hobby, not just the love of photography, but how to run a business, how to have a family and actually have a business where this is your full time. You don't have to do this on the side and also go do your 9 to 5. This could be your full-time business like it is for us.
Yeah, so here's probably what we're not going to talk about. So you might love cameras and lenses and lighting, and all that stuff obviously is necessary for photography, but those are things we're probably not going to talk about. We're just going to focus heavily on the business side of photography because that's where we feel people probably need a lot of help with, I think. Mm-hmm. So, but before we get there, let's start off with who are we?
Yeah, so I'm Lauren. I am 24 years old at this time in 2020, and I am a brand photographer here in Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas, where we live. So I do branding sessions for mostly realtors, but a lot of small business owners, or anybody really who wants to have an Instagram presence that needs branding images. As a brand photographer, I learned that I actually need to brand myself as any given photographer, not just post pictures of what I take, but post pictures of me. And I'm sure, as you know, when you post pictures of yourself, you build a lot of engagement. So that's really what I try to help my clients with, and that's what I've been loving. I love brand photography.
Yeah, so even if you're not a brand photographer, if you're in wedding or portrait, we do focus on brand photography, but I still think you can get some gems from this podcast.
Right, because marketing and business is marketing and business. It doesn't have to be specific to your niche in photography.
Yeah, so we're going to do our best to teach you what we're tactically doing in our business and try to give you the most kind of evergreen, principle-based kind of marketing and business advice.
So who are you?
So who am I? Okay, as I'm chiming in here.
So what do you do?
Yeah, so like I said, my name is Colin.
How old are you?
I am 26 years old. How to think about that? Married to Lauren. She is awesome. And essentially I am the marketing, funnel building, systems and virtual assistant handling team member of our business. And so really I do all things related to lead generation, getting new clients on the calendar, getting new calls booked, again, building out systems and processes, the whole shebang. So that's sort of my job.
He is the spine of the business. He keeps it going. He keeps it consistent. And I'm just so happy to have him because I truly couldn't do it without him. He helps me so much.
So who is this podcast for?
So as you can probably tell, again, it is for photographers that are looking to grow their business, actually to make it a business. You might just have it as a side hustle right now, or it's on the weekends right now doing sessions. But if you are looking to get rid of your full-time job that you're in right now that's not photography and focus solely on photography and learn how to make it a business, how to market, how to be consistent every month, not just hang on to referrals or hoping for people to go on your website, but actually learn how to put your work in front of your ideal clients consistently. This is who it's for.
Yeah, because it's funny because a lot of times photographers are super creative, but I think from what I've seen, because I'm not very creative myself, although marketing in a way is creative, but I guess not a photographer, I should say that. So I think what we've recognized is a lot of times the creatives they're good at the creative side, but not at the business side. And so I think that may be you. If you're listening to the podcast, and you're like, I love photography, or I'm just getting started, but I don't really know how to grow the business. I'm maybe good at taking photos and editing and creating a good client experience, but I don't know how to get more clients. This is probably your podcast.
Mm-hmm. And it's probably not as normal to find someone who is amazing at photography, amazing at marketing, amazing at all these things, because it truly takes a master skill in each one of those things to obviously become a master at it. So you are in the right spot. If you're listening to this, the best place to start is to reach out and look for people who are doing it great to learn from, because they're teaching you it, obviously they kind of know what they're talking about. So when we teach this, we're doing these things. We are seeing the fruit from it. We are seeing the blessing from it. So that's why we're just so anxious and excited to get on this podcast to teach it, because we know that I'm not the best marketer and Colin's not the best photographer, but together we can do great things. So you might not be the best marketer right now, or even understand how to even market or what a funnel is. But after learning these things that we're going to teach about and kind of piecing everything together, we truly believe you'll be able to do great things and become a great marketer. Yeah,
and we're going to do our best to give you as much free resources as we can as well. Our goal, like Lauren said, is to give as much value as possible. And like she said as well, the things that we're teaching, we're actually doing. In fact, once we're done with this podcast, we'll be headed off shortly to a branding session. So, and that probably will be the case for a lot of these podcasts. We'll try to sneak them in before we actually go and do business. So that's that. So why did we decide to make this podcast?
So I guess to start from the very beginning on why are we even where we are right now, is because we wanted to become entrepreneurs. We had that inside of us. But obviously every entrepreneur's journey starts from, well, where were you before you started this business? So I'll start off. I was a nursing student in 2014. For about 4 years, I was getting my bachelor's of science in nursing, and I was doing photography on the side, like many of you might be doing. Just doing it on the sides on the weekend for fun, making maybe $200 a month. I don't know, something like that. And then near the end of graduation of getting my nursing degree, I really wasn't fired up about where I'm going to work, where I'm going to go in the hospital, what I'm going to do. Of course, I loved helping people. That was no question. I loved just literally being a servant to others and helping them, especially the elderly. I love that part. But I couldn't really see myself as a nurse. It wasn't really a drive for me. We had moved from a different city in Texas where we were going to college to Dallas, Fort Worth after I graduated. So now we were in a new city. I kind of had a excitement to want to grow new clientele here for photography while I was trying to find a nursing job. It took me about a year to find a nursing job that I did for a few months. But in that time, I was trying to figure out, how do I get my name out in front of new clientele in DFW? I know I'm going to live here for a little bit, so let's start that process. So fast forward, I was doing that for a little bit. About a year later, I landed a nursing job. I did that about part-time, and again, was just doing some photography here and there on my days off. Again, maybe $1,000 a month, nothing that, I don't know, it was more of a headache, to be honest, than trying to fill mini sessions for families. I was doing family photography, maternity, like everything that's kind of in that batch of photography. And I realized I really don't want to be a nurse. Why am I still doing this? I was even just doing 8-hour shifts at a nursing home and just doing it because I think I had the degree and I didn't want to let people down. That was really why I was doing it. And I knew that Colin was at home doing marketing things, not for my photography business, but in general. And it was such an itch to be home, learning with him, getting after things with him, building things with him, because that's really what excites me. So again, fast forward a few more months, I officially say, okay, I'm just going to stop doing this nursing job and jump full force into photography. If you have ever stopped one thing and jumped full force into another thing, I'm sure you know the fruit that comes from that. The minute you literally put 110% of your time into one thing, the growth level is just going to increase. Let's blow off the roof. And that is what happened with photography. I quickly switched niches to go into brand and headshot photography. I had seen that I kind of had that interest. I didn't really do much of it, but I liked what I saw on other brand photographers' Instagrams. I liked the concept of it. I liked that I could work with other entrepreneurs, other business individuals that were like-minded thinkers, and also working with adults. That seemed like a lot of fun because I'd always worked with young kids in the past that drained my energy. So this seemed like, ooh, something new and exciting. Again, where do I go find business individuals to say, let me take your picture? I didn't know where to go. So as we are in 2020 right now, we just are coming out of a pandemic with COVID, and as you know, business shut down during April and May and a little bit of March. That's when I started my brand photography business, was in April, end of March of 2020. And to tell you that I had people handing me money during April 2020 when businesses were shut down, people weren't getting paid. I was getting people handing me money.
Pretty much
daily.
Yeah.
I had about 3,000 booked in April 2020 when I was just starting off with branding sessions. Really had no proof to show of my photos except that I did family sessions. But it was the call to action that I had. It was the message that I was giving them, the offer that I was offering them, and the value that they saw in that. From then on to where we are currently, it has just gone skyrocketed in a branding photography niche that I'm in now with Colin's marketing skill, combining that. I cannot keep my head straight sometimes because I'm just so thankful of what my calendar looks like now. I thought photography was just about making maybe $1,000 a month as a hobby. I never dreamed that I could do this full time as a business owner, and that's where we are now, and that's why, in my opinion, why we made this podcast. So I'm going to hand it off to Colin.
All right. Well, I don't know what to say after that. I think you kind of said it, but yeah, what Lauren said, that's kind of our passion behind it is both of us doing two separate things. Lauren at the nursing home, and me working with clients on a marketing basis, and having the desire to want to work together, and not knowing how to do it, but actually through prayer, which is 100% the foundation, we kind of recognize that we need to team up with Lauren's photography skills, my marketing skills, kind of put them together and create a bit of a team and see what happens. And so, like Lauren said, we launched it right in the middle of a pandemic. But you know what's funny? We had so much courage and I guess, I don't know if determination, prayer really was the foundation, and we just trusted the process. And like Lauren said, as things are shutting down, we're booking like crazy. And within just a few months, we went from a few thousand to kind of the low 5 figures a month mark right now. And pretty exciting. And that just, again, really gave us a lot of passion behind this. And so that's kind of the purpose of why we made the podcast. What to expect moving forward? What should they expect?
Yeah, so you can expect a lot more of this, a lot more of just fiery passion behind growing a business with photography. We truly believe that there are so many photographers out there. There's so many people that have a camera that they're actually very talented, but they're not getting their name out there. Nobody knows who you are to even want to book with you. So our passion and drive is just to help photographers who have a love for this and maybe want to get out of their everyday job to do photography full time. So we're going to talk a lot about business methods, marketing techniques. You can jump in and sell more.
Yeah, essentially you're going to hear a lot from us just talking about our day-to-day, the tactical stuff we're actually doing, things that could probably help bless you in your business if you're just getting started or if you've been doing it for a while. And then you may also hear from some of the folks that we network with, some of their stories, other photographers, and some of the things that are working for them.
Yeah, I mean, a couple things that we love using, we will teach you and give value on is Facebook ads, Google ads, funnels, how to build a funnel, what is a funnel, why do we even use that, Instagram outreach, LinkedIn outreach, cold email. There is endless list of what we do and what leads into our business and what books our calendar month after month. And that's what we want to teach you because, like I said, it is working for us. It's a blessing, and we truly believe that this will bless you.
Yeah, so awesome. So that's our episode. We'll wrap it up. Like I said, we have some other stuff going on this morning we got to jump into. So appreciate all of you that are listening, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode.